German Lyric Diction for singing. In German, I find as a singer that it is best to think of the shape of the language, the position of the language in the mouth to be physically different than when I speak in English. And I imagine that there is a spot here at the corner of my eyes to here at the front of the cheekbone, and then wide coating the roof of my mouth so the shape ends up being kind of like a parasail. And then I place the language up there, and when I do that, all of a sudden I get a little bit of a German accent. I'm not trying to put on an accent, but by physically placing the sound in that position, I find that it helps me to better sing more consistently in German. So our front vowels are the long closed E. In English, eat or greet. In German, ihm, liebe, dir. The short front vowel I. In English, bit or quick, which tends to be here, but if we put it higher in the mouth, Kind, Himmel. The long closed front vowel E. In the English word chaos or decor. In German, it's very, very bright, very forward, so that placement physically is really important. Meer, Leben, Seele. The open E and the long open E. In English, again, met, friend, very medial in the mouth. In German, has to be up at the roof of the mouth. Herz, Mädchen. Our back vowels of U, long closed U, as in English, food or blue. In German, again, lifted higher, Uhr, Blume. And again, if you think that inside of the cheeks moving forward and pulling forward, but then the shape still being that parasail at the roof of the mouth, Uhr, Blume, it gives a much more German kind of sound, especially when you're singing. The basically looks like a capital U with little lines on it. I call it the hook U for a couple reasons. One, it's a little bit silly. And two, the vowel sound makes the sound in the word hook. So it is both a silly name that helps you remember it, and it gives you the sound of the symbol. So in English, the word look or put. In German, Duft, Stunde. Then we have the long closed O, which in English, obey, protect. It's not very long or closed. In German, Sohn, Vogel, Boot. The open O, which looks like a backward C, as in English words talk and ought. In German, Wonne, Morgen. Then we have the central vowels. We have a dark, long A, and we have a bright A. If you say the word aha, aha, the first sound is the dark A, ah, the second sound ha, and it travels from the back to the front of the mouth. So the dark ah is a little bit farther back. Aha, as in the English word father or honor. In German, Jahr, Abend, Saal. Again, it needs to be lifted into the roof of the mouth. In the front bright vowels, Wald, Schatten. Again, it's a little bit farther forward. Then we have the vowel R, which looks like an upside down, reversed capital R, which acts somewhat like a schwa, but it is a moving sound. Für, wandern. So if you say the word, or in the German word for, if you say it like you're a 4-year-old, for, I'm 4 years old, just like a 4-year-old might say it, that's the sound of the vowel R. Mixed vowels. Mixed vowels are very important. They are a combination of a tongue position and a lip rounding. So the mixed vowel Y, the long mixed vowel in German, is a combination of the tongue placement, the fronted tongue of the E sound, and then the cheek movement forward of the U. So if you say E, that's your sound. Früh, Hügel. Okay? The capital Y, which is the open mixed vowel Y, in German is I and U. Glück and Lüfte. Okay? The O slash, long O slash, so it's O with a slash through it, and that is the O, the closed O, which in German is very closed, and the A, tongue position of A. So A, Ü, schön, fröhlich. And in German, you can almost think of the English sound as in Schönberg. If you think Schönberg or Churn, Schönberg, Churn, schön, fröhlich, there's a little bit of that feeling into the sound. Then we have the OE sound, which in French is very open. In German, not so much. It's it is the and the O sound. So the open E, and then the open O sound. Öffnen, Töchter, Töchter, öffnen. It's not quite the sound that we have for the O/. In German, the schwa is a neutral sound, and it is always moving from and to something. So it is not always just one sound. It is modified by the sounds that are around it. So, and it is also part, meine, so from the E to the and then gegeben, so that's a little closer to the OE, meine, gegeben, there's a little more rounding because we're going from a more neutral to a very closed sound. So again, the schwa is a moving, neutral, unstressed syllable that does need to have shape because we have to sing on it, but it can't be too proscribed. The dental consonants in German, so these are German dental consonants, is the Z, which if you take your tongue inside the lower teeth, let the arch sort of almost touch the alveolar ridge, Z, Sonne, Weise, that helps get that lifted sound into the roof of the mouth in German that I've talked about. The S is just is unvoiced version of that, Fest, Haus, müssen. The L is the tip of the tongue, L, L, L. In singing, always the tip of the tongue, unlike the English, which is a medial, lateral tongue placement, O. In German, Italian, French, sung English, tip of the tongue just to keep that back of the tongue uninvolved in the singing activity. Lied, als, Stille, that tip of the tongue is flicking up and down from the alveolar ridge or actually into the teeth, so it's dental and down. Your alveolar consonant of the flipped R. We will never use the guttural R that's used in some German. We will use the flipped R that is closer to Southern German just because it sings better. Recht, Frieden, Herr. Your prepalatal consonants, we have one fricative and one affricate. The esch, which is spelled E-S-C-H, it's the German spelling. It's the sound that in English we have of the SH sound, the sh. Stein, spricht, rasch. Then we also have the affricate, which is a T plus the esch, and it's the English sound in the word chair, and latch, most often in English shown by a CH combination. In German, it will most often be a TSCH combination. Deutsch, Plätze. Okay? Palatal consonants. We have the Ich laut, which is forward. It is the word in the sound ich. I also call it the cat hiss. If you go h, or the sound in the word hue, for the color hue or the name hue, that's that h, h, ich laut. Gleich, nicht, ewig. Older forms of lyric German diction request that the ich laut become more of an sh sound, but that has become a lot less acceptable in sung German and in recordings. So please do not use the sh, the esch, to replace the ich laut or the ach laut, which we will talk about in a second. So gleich, nicht, ewig. As long as the air is moving forward through the sound, so it's not gleich, ich, pulling back. Gleich, ich, ewig. It will move forward and it will not impede the vocal line. Then we have the J, which is the symbol J, which if you think of the German word ja, it's the Y sound. So Jung, Jäger, and Ja. Then we have the Achlaut, which looks like a cursive X, sort of, and that is the sound ach. It's a little bit like a throat clear, but it's not all the way at the back of the tongue. Ach. It should be right here about where that I spot is. And again, it's not the Ich-Laut, which is here at the front at that cheekbone spot. It's here at the eyes. Buch, machen. And again, do not let it become an Buch, machen, which is sort of an older pronunciation for singing diction and is really not acceptable anymore. So Buch, machen. As long as the air is moving forward, Buch, machen is pulling back. That's going to get in the way of the vocal line. Buch and machen will not get in the way of the vocal line. Then we have the NG sound, which is the the velar, where the side of the tongue is up here at the soft palate, hard palate conjunction. It's the sound in the word singer, but just like in English, we will not make it a g. It won't be a singer. It'll be a singer. Engel, danke. And I call it the monkey tail N because it's an N with a little tail on it that looks like a monkey's tail. So I call it the monkey tail N. Okay? We do use the glottal stop in German, which is the that comes at the beginning of a word that starts with a vowel. As you're singing, you need to be very cautious with using this, that it doesn't cause over-muscleization of the onset of the sound. So always work in conjunction with your teacher on how much to use the glottal stop. In English, we can sometimes really overdo it, like the word age, that sound really stopped. But in German, we need a little bit Auge, uralt, uralt, uralt. So it's not uralt, but uralt. So there's a little bit of a stop there. It has to be there. But it's not uralt, which a lot of heaviness. Again, work with your voice teacher. Make sure that they approve of how you're using the glottal stop.